clash of shadows and light. The battle within the human psyche is a complex battlefield, one where the forces of shadow and light continuously collide. These two forces represent the internal struggle between our darker instincts, those parts of ourselves we often try to suppress in the desire for personal growth, truth, and enlightenment. The shadow represents the repressed emotions, desires, fears, and unresolved experiences that lie hidden in the unconscious mind. On the other hand, the light symbolizes self-awareness, enlightenment, and a conscious understanding of who we are. This clash is not an external war, but an internal one that shapes our actions, relationships, and ultimately our identity. The shadow is often born from early life experiences, societal conditioning, and personal trauma. We are taught from a young age what is acceptable and what is not, leading us to suppress parts of ourselves that are deemed undesirable. These suppressed emotions or characteristics don't disappear. They reside in our unconscious mind, waiting for the right trigger to emerge. The shadow can manifest as anger, shame, jealousy, or fear, and when left unacknowledged, it can wreak havoc on our mental and emotional well-being. Without awareness, these hidden parts of ourselves can cause us to act out in ways that feel out of control or irrational, but the shadow isn't inherently evil or destructive. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who coined the term shadow, suggested that these repressed aspects of ourselves are merely neglected parts of our identity. The shadow holds potential for transformation and growth if we are willing to face it. However, many individuals avoid acknowledging their shadow because of fear of rejection, fear of failure, or fear of confronting painful truths. This fear creates a constant battle between the desire to remain in the light of self-awareness and the avoidance of the discomfort that comes with facing the darker aspects of oneself. The light represents the conscious mind, our ability to reason, understand, and grow. When we are in the light, we see ourselves clearly. We understand our emotions, motivations, and actions, and we make decisions based on knowledge rather than impulse. The light is also associated with wisdom, compassion, and the pursuit of truth. It represents the aspiration to become the best version of ourselves. Yet, the light is not always pure and steady. It requires continuous effort to remain in the light, as the shadows constantly seek to pull us back into unconscious behavior patterns. The battle between light and shadow is not a one-time struggle, but a continuous process of self-discovery. At times it may feel like we are making progress, only to find ourselves confronted with new fears, insecurities, or negative emotions that we had not previously acknowledged. Each encounter with our shadow offers an opportunity for growth, as long as we are willing to face it. The process of self-awareness requires a deep sense of vulnerability, as we must allow ourselves to be honest with ourselves about the aspects of our identity that we may not like. In this internal battle, self-awareness plays a crucial role. To confront the shadow, we must first recognize its presence in our lives. This means taking the time to reflect on our actions, thoughts, and feelings, and noticing when we are acting out of unconscious patterns. Practices like meditation, journaling, or therapy can be incredibly helpful in bringing the unconscious into the conscious realm. Through self-awareness, we can identify the triggers that bring our shadow to the surface, and we can begin to understand why certain patterns or behaviors repeat in our lives. Vulnerability is another essential element in the battle with the shadow. Many of us build walls around our emotions to protect ourselves from pain or judgment. However, this armor only serves to reinforce the power of the shadow by keeping us from acknowledging its existence. True growth occurs when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable not only with others, but also with ourselves. Embracing vulnerability means acknowledging that we are imperfect, that we carry wounds, and that we are constantly evolving. This self-compassion allows the light to shine on the shadow, transforming it into a source of wisdom rather than a source of shame. One of the most profound aspects of this internal battle is the realization that we are not defined by our shadows. They do not make us bad or flawed. Rather, they are part of our human experience. Just as light cannot exist without darkness, we cannot understand our light without embracing the shadow. The integration of the shadow is a powerful form of self-acceptance. It is the recognition that we are complex beings, capable of both greatness and flaws. By accepting both aspects of ourselves, we become whole and authentic, no longer torn between opposing forces within